Hey guys, it's Brian. As you know, Module 1 was all about your link creators. That's where you learn how to find your link creators and identify topics that they already share and link to. Then, in Lesson 3 of this module, I showed you how to find a medium tail keyword. That way, when you publish your Power Page, it'll be primed for first page rankings. And if you're like me, you learn best from examples. That's why I peppered each lesson in this module with lots of examples from several different industries. That said, you can never have enough examples, especially in boring or challenging niches. So I decided to put together this collection of mini case studies from some of our most successful SEO That Works graduates, many of which work in industries where finding link creators and link creator friendly topics isn't as straightforward. So without further ado, let's take a look at example number 1, Darren DeMattas. Darren is the founder of TopSpecUS.com. TopSpecUS is an e-commerce site that sells survival and camping gear like heavy-duty bags, tents, and blankets. Needless to say, there aren't many link creators out there that write about what Darren sells. I mean, it's not like people write blog posts about 5 tips for choosing a duffel bag. Plus, considering that Darren runs an e-commerce site, getting link creators to link directly to his product and category pages wasn't going to be easy. That's where a Power Page comes into play. Like I mentioned in Lesson 3, you can use your Power Page to funnel link authority to your product pages, which will boost their rankings. But first, you need a Power Page. And actually, at first, Darren struggled to find link creators that wrote about outdoor gear. It's not a very exciting topic. That's when Darren decided to look for a shoulder niche related to what his site sold. And Darren knew that a lot of his customers used heavy-duty bags to take guns, bows and arrows, and other equipment to shooting ranges. And Darren thought that range shooting would be a promising shoulder niche, but he needed to execute the steps from Lesson 2 of this module to be sure. And sure enough, when Darren looked for link creators that ran websites about range shooting, he found plenty. And when he looked at topics that these link creators linked to most, he realized that they tended to link to content about pistol shooting tips. So he created a Power Page around that link creator focused topic called Pistol Shooting Tips from 20 Sharpshooters. And it did great. The page quickly accumulated a handful of high quality backlinks from authority sites in the shooting niche. Sure enough, when Darren linked from his Power Page to one of his important category pages, organic traffic to that page shot up by 259%. Okay, so let's cover one of my favorite examples of using the process from Module 1 in a boring niche, Joe Dillon. Joe runs a small divorce mediation firm in New Jersey. As Joe puts it, my wife and I are a small 2-person divorce mediation firm. Well, 4 if you count our 2 dogs. And we're competing against huge law firms and the like with massive budgets. And needless to say, there aren't exactly a ton of link creators that write about divorce mediation. But like I mentioned in Lesson 3 from this module, your Power Page topic doesn't have to be directly about what you sell. The most important thing is that you publish a Power Page that link creators will actually link to. So as long as your topic is semi-related, that's more than good enough. And as you'll see in a minute, Joe's Power Page is a great example of this. So as you can imagine, there aren't many link creators that write about divorce mediation. And those that do write about the legal side of divorce are law firms that are Joe's direct competitors. That's when Joe set to find link creators that wrote about anything related to divorce. And Joe found a ton of link creators that wrote content about advice for someone going through or preparing for a divorce. And many of these people were financial bloggers. Some were therapy websites that offer tips for coping with the stress of divorce. To be clear, the topics these link creators write about are very different than what Joe's company offers. He offers divorce mediation for times when divorces don't end on a good note. On the other hand, these link creators provide advice for someone going through a divorce, whether or not the couple splits up amicably or not. In fact, lots of the content these people wrote about was specifically designed to help the reader avoid mediation. And when Joe studied the topics these link creators linked to, he noticed that they tended to link to content on the topic of preparing for divorce. In other words, they link to content about splitting up assets, keeping the lines of communication open, and how to deal with the emotional strain. So Joe decided to create a massive guide on the link creator-friendly topic of preparing for divorce. It contained lots of actionable tips to help ensure divorces go smoothly, exactly the type of content his link creators love to share. And sure enough, Joe's power page did great. It generated over 40 backlinks. This power page, along with a few others, dramatically boosted Joe's domain authority. And because Joe's site has so many links pointing to it, his commercial pages now rank for ridiculously competitive terms. For example, Joe now ranks in the top 3 for commercial keywords that his clients search for, like divorce without a lawyer and divorce mediation cost. As Joe puts it, I believe 100% that it has to do with following your tried and true techniques and not falling prey to the latest SEO fad. Slow and steady wins the race, and these results certainly prove it. Okay, let's move right into example number 3, Dave Peralta. I'll say it once and I'll say it again. Your power page topic doesn't have to be directly about what you sell. Like I mentioned in lesson 2, Backlinko sells SEO training products. But you don't see me publishing content like 5 tips for choosing an SEO training product or how to find the best marketing course for you. Instead, I write about topics that my link creators, and in many cases my target audience, wants to see. And this is the same approach the SEO That Works graduate Dave Peralta took with his power page. First, some background. Dave heads up content marketing at I See It, which is a customer relationship management tool. Now, is CRM software an exciting niche with mass appeal? No. Is CRM software a boring B2B industry with almost no link creators? Yes. And are the few link creators that do write about CRM tools Dave's competition? Yep. That's when Dave realized, what do people that buy CRM tools actually want? More sales, which means there might be websites out there that write about getting more sales. And Dave was right. When he Googled online sales tips and other related keywords, he found a mountain of link creators that covered that topic. The question was, what do these link creators actually link to? Well, Dave noticed that link creators love to share advice from superstar salespeople. In the sales world, there's a huge gap between the top 5% of performers and the rest. And the 95% that aren't superstars love to hear secrets from that 5% group. So Dave created a power page using the crowdsourced manual framework from Module 2. His power page curated actionable tips from sales pros in several different industries. And it was a huge success. Dave's power page got links from a bunch of different sales blogs, including HubSpot. So not only did Dave's link creators love his power page, but it ranks in the top 5 for a medium tail keyword that I See Its customers search for, sales advice. And now it's time for example number 4, Mike Bonadio. I briefly mentioned Mike in lesson 2, but I want to dive a little bit deeper into this example because it's a good one. As you might remember, Mike runs an SEO agency in New York, and one day he signed on one of his most challenging clients, a pest control company. This client was challenging for the simple reason that there are 0 link creators that write about pest control. Now, lots of people in Mike's position would say, no one cares about pest control, this won't work for me. But Mike realized that this challenge was really an opportunity because most other pest control companies were relying 100% on on-page SEO. They thought that it would be impossible to build links in their niche, so they didn't even try. But Mike knew that a single power page could help his client skyrocket above his competition, which it did. In fact, Mike's single power page made a giant dent in his clients' rankings for super competitive keywords like Exterminator NYC. So, how did he do it? First, Mike came up with a handful of shoulder niches that were tangentially related to pest control. At this point, he wasn't 100% sure if these niches had any link creators, but this was just the brainstorming phase, so Mike jotted down anything that came to mind. Then he Googled keywords that described these potential shoulder niches. That way, he could see if there were any link creators that covered these topics. And Mike found that there are lots of garden bloggers that wrote about keeping your garden free of pests. Now, even though this niche isn't directly related to what Mike's client sells, it's more than close enough. And more importantly, this niche actually had link creators. So now that he found link creators, Mike had to see which topics they tended to link to most. And when Mike looked at popular gardening blogs, he noticed that they talked a lot about keeping your garden free of pests without using chemicals and pesticides. As Mike told me, unlike pest control, I knew gardening was a topic people actually talked about online. So we married the two niches and came up with the angle of natural pest control methods for gardeners. That was a topic that lots of gardeners and their readers actually cared about. Mike ultimately turned this topic into a trusty infographic, which is one of the content frameworks you'll learn about in Module 2. And because this infographic was designed to appeal to his link creators, it was shared on gardening blogs and authority news sites like Lifehacker and the Bangor Daily News. And now it's time for our last example, Bill Dinker from Discovery Place. Discovery Place is a drug rehab center in Tennessee. And I probably don't need to tell you that there are almost zero link creators that cover this topic. Bill knew this too. And that's why Bill set out to find a shoulder niche that actually had link creators. So Bill looked for resource pages in the medical industry, and he noticed that lots of them linked to content about seniors and Medicare. So Bill combined this link creator friendly topic, seniors and Medicare, with his site's topic, drug rehab. The result? A super valuable power page, the ultimate guide to addiction treatment for seniors with Medicare. This power page linked to everything a senior would need to identify that they have a problem and how to get help covered by Medicare. And because Bill's power page was designed specifically for his link creators, he was able to build links with ease. In fact, this single page now has backlinks from over 90 different domains. So those are 5 great examples of the process from Module 1 used successfully in e-commerce and several so-called boring industries. As you can see, you can create and publish a power page no matter what industry you happen to find yourself in. And because no one else in your industry is likely doing anything cool or interesting, your power page is a great opportunity to really stand out. More important than that, like you saw in these examples, a single power page can make a huge difference in your rankings and organic traffic. So that's it for this bonus video, and I'll see you in the next one.